I've been on this journey to figure myself out, but now it feels like I've got all these pieces of the puzzle scattered around and I can't quite put them together. How do I go from understanding who I want to be to actually being that person? It's like there's a gap and I need to bridge it. Any advice on making those life lessons stick and becoming the real me I've discovered?
I love this question. So it's like the spiritual journey, it's the growth process, it's the healing process where it's like you can recognize and glimpse the version of yourself that is out there, or you're like striving to become a different version of who you are, and you're trying to shed all the old patterns, routines, coping mechanisms, pains, all these kind of different things. But there's like this new version of you that's trying to become. And for me, I can relate. This is something that I feel like I'm kind of in the midst of myself right now. And what I keep coming up against is I have to, because it's the same old thing where if we want our lives to be different, we have to do different things. If I want to be a different person, if I want to be the version of myself that I can see, I have to do different things today than I did yesterday. So all the things that I'm accustomed to doing, or all the things that I have decided are me, like this is the type of person that I am, I do this. I'm the type of person that does that. All of these stories that I have about myself in regards to how I'm living my life, or all the reasons why I can't, right? It's twofold. It's not just the things that, it's not my perception of who I am that I have to allow not only to question, but truthfully, if I really want to become the version that I can see and glimpse, I have to be able to let go of the version that I am. So it's not just the stories that I tell myself to keep myself small, or all the excuses that I create in order to avoid doing the things that I want to do. Yes, I have to recognize those things and question those things, like, why am I stopping myself from doing this, or why am I stopping myself from doing that? But truthfully, I think in order to become what you want to be, you have to allow the old version of you to die. You have to literally say, I can't become this new thing if I'm continually clinging to this old version of myself. So what that means in practicality and how that looks, and I'm just speaking from my own experience, is I'm just like literally addressing everything from this perception of, can I let this go? 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 And it's like across the board with everything. It's with stuff and clutter and property and things that we keep and things that we hold on to, materialism. It's concepts and ideas that I have about who I am. It's belief systems. And like we just got done recording a podcast about energy and love and spirituality and all these kind of different things. And I have to be willing to let that go. I have to be willing to let this go. I have to just essentially allow everything that I believe to suddenly go away so that I can become this thing that will believe differently than I believe today, or that will experience life differently than I experience it today. So I not only have to do more, and more isn't necessarily the thing that you have to do. I think it's, I have to do the work to become that version of myself. And it is being accountable, and it is like not, succumbing to the excuses that we have and then what we tell ourselves, but it's also the bigger overarching thing that will really, I think, take you from one version to the next version, is being willing to let that old version die. Yeah. And just mourning that process. Because there's things that I find that I'm butting up against, that I'm continually holding on to, that if I let those go, it will feel like this massive amount of grief that I have to feel in order to let that holding on to, like I'm holding and clinging on to ideas, concepts, beliefs, even just things that is like, let that go. And I'm like, I can't. Because if I let that go, the amount of grief that it will bring. But that grieving process and that death of that version of me that is holding on to something and clinging to something is what's keeping me stuck in this old version of myself. And if I could go through that grief process of letting that go, I could then become this new version of myself that I want to. So that's what I would say to that great question. What do you think?
I love that. I would add just a couple of layers with that. And from my perspective, right? If this fits, it fits. If it doesn't, but
take it or leave it.
Right. It doesn't mean that you must like dismantle your life. It doesn't mean that you must sell everything you own, leave your family. It's not like the Buddha where you have to like go through the experience of where you release and relinquish everything because there can be attachment to nothing. And then later find out, oh, I didn't really have to do that. It's the things that really aren't serving and aren't allowing you to grow and are keeping you with the past and the stuff that you're like afraid to let go of, afraid of the grief. And you only know how to do it the way that you used to do it, like letting that go. And it's just being curious about like what else, right? That these tools that you have, like you mentioned, how did you word it? Making those life lessons stick. So these pieces of the puzzle scattered. So how you said that, just getting curious about how they do fit and trying it new. Like, it's like they say, you know, brushing with if you're right-handed, you're right hand dominant, then like brushing with your left hand, you're like working these other parts of your brain and your energy to try something new and allowing those to come in and to be different, allowing different shades to come in, allowing different, just the different, embracing the change, embracing the release. And also not waiting for others, not feeling like you're there when others recognize that you're different, when others stop treating you like the old you that they know before it sits that you are the new you, that all of that takes into place. You get to recognize who you really are. And it doesn't matter if anybody else recognizes who you really are. You get to see it, and that is enough.